Hi, I'm Khushi Kapoor.
And I'm Junaid Khan.
And you're watching us exclusively on Zoom.
Hi, this is Amina Sheikh here on Zoom channel, and with me today I have Khushi Kapoor and Junaid as they're going to explore the different sides of love with their movie LoveYapa. So join me as I welcome both of them only on Zoom. Lovely to have both of you first of all, and I could see that a lot of LoveYapa is happening in your lives. How it was working on this one.
It was great fun, yeah. बहुत मजा आया हम लोगों को.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think through readings, rehearsals, practice, it was very fun to sort of find these characters. Yeah.
You know what, Khushi, for you especially, I've seen a lot of reels being made out of it. Like, there is this comparison which is happening of, the kind of girl we would prefer, like, dating
versus,
yeah. And, that is one thing which already, kind of, got attention. And for you, it's the history, the chat history, or say the Chrome history, what you have, basically revealed. And people are finding that relatable a lot. What do you have to say on that? Because I feel that is where the generation is kind of heading to, we are really confused, but at the same time, we all want love.
I think love is something that transcends generations. I think हमेशा से it's been an emotion that is very innately human.
Yeah.
अभी थोड़े terminologies बदले हैं, भाषा बदली है, हाँ.
What do you have to say, Khushi?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this movie is about confusion in love with these two people. I think it's more about प्यार में जो सब होता है, झगड़े वगड़े, and just how they overcome these obstacles together because of the phone में इतना सब कुछ तो हो जाता है, and you can't really control it now on social media. So many things keep happening. So we kind of try to show that in a fun way.
It also shows two different, sides of love. When I say that, basically, it's showing two different generations also. How Ashutosh Sir is talking about, things, or, where he's put, the entire evil card, the role he's trying to play, even the mother, basically. They're trying to say some kind of, thoughts what they have versus the current, types. What do you have to say about the current scenario when it comes to love? We have, explored different terms right now, benching. We have explored terms like situationship, which has become very common. Then there is ghosting, then there's love bombing. What do you have to say about these terminologies?
I think it just overcomplicates everything. And it doesn't have to be that complicated. And I know that it might be a generational thing, but I think maybe it was much more simpler back then than it is now. Now there's a very big gray area in relationships between boundaries and things like that. So I don't think it necessarily has to be that complicated. It's very easy to be in a relationship, I think. Yeah.
हाँ, मतलब मेरी आशुतोष राणा जी के साथ भी बात हो रही थी, and he was also like, बस भाषा बदली है, वरना प्यार होता है.
To both of you, what are your thoughts when it comes to love? What do you prefer? Like, are you old school, like vintage lovers, or do you prefer, like, getting into this, accepting the new enhanced versions of love stories? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know what a new and enhanced version of a love story looks like, to be honest. I think it should be quite simple. I don't think there should be a confusion in, does this person like me? Am I doing something wrong? I think it should be very established, clear, black and white. This ghosting, benching and all, I don't understand.
What about you, Junaid?
No, I think I'm very old school that.
Yeah. Now also, as we talk about the script, it's been kept very compact, and at the same time, the focus has been very clear, like too many cooks spoil the broth, which also happens, like, because your friends are telling you a certain, story, you're also kind of, buying that, or, sometimes even you're getting very confused, like whether this is the person I was with. So if you could, of course, you cannot reveal everything over here in the interview, but if you could say something on that, how many times you also feel that, there are chances of love getting confused? It cannot, it is stable in, in a lot of things, but there are chances of getting confused because sometimes we tend to take opinions of others, and, ऐसा बोलते कि तीन तिगड़ा काम बिगड़ा. So the moment a third person, gets involved, the love really sublimes.
Well, that's why I think मैं हमेशा बोलती हूँ कि communication सबसे important है. Trust के लिए, सब कुछ के लिए, I think you need to be able to speak to your partner and articulate what your needs are and what you're comfortable with and not comfortable with. Otherwise, I just feel like you'll keep having issues.
Yeah. What do you
नहीं, मुझे तो actually लगता है कि जो हमारी फिल्म, हमारे जो प्यार में जो बाधाएं होती हैं ना, वो ज़्यादातर हम खुद डालते हैं. और मुझे लगता है that's what our film is actually trying to say, more than anything else. So it's not about other people, it's not about outside situations. It's mostly about ourselves only.
One more thing, Junaid, what I have seen, how Aamir was introduced in Bollywood, or even, Imran, the expectations from them when it started off was more of a lover boy. You started off with Maharaj, and then you moved to LoveYapa, which is, getting the romantic side later on. Of course, Maharaj also had the romantic side, of course, but, the focus was also on a societal subject, majorly, basically. Then, just basically, completely like focusing on that side. What do you have to say about that, because probably it came to you later on.
महाराज में तो दो हीरोइन को रोमांस कर रहा था.
Yeah, but then again there was a societal concern which it was focusing on.
No,
majorly.
obviously that was a period drama. This is a romantic dramedy, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know about that. Both stories spoke to me differently, separately. मुझे कहानियाँ पसंद आई for what they are.
To both of you, because you belong to families wherein there has been acting, so even your mom has been an actress, your father has been an actor, is there a lot of pressure, do you personally have felt as such, that there are these expectations which has been kind of made out of y'all?
Not so much. I think we all have our own path.
Yeah, I mean, I agree completely. But I mean, the audience, of course, I feel like will have comparisons and ideas in their head, and you can't blame them because I feel like our parents and family has been in the industry for so long.
Yeah.
But I think we're both new, we're both going to learn so many things, and this is going to be our separate journey. Of course, it won't be the same thing. But you can't really blame other people for having that thought in their head.
In fact, Aamir also feels that, you basically kind of, when he sees you working, he kind of feels that, essence of, Sridevi ma'am in you. What do you have to say about that? It's a very huge compliment.
I can never ever touch that, and I wouldn't ever want to try to, but it was very nice of him to say that.
Also talking about, coming into the world of industry and, the way the content has also flourished. It also like, we have spoken that, at one point of time, I would recollect, which was the last movie I saw. Versus now I feel like I'm seeing so much of content. There are chances of content getting lost. Like still, even if I watched, Maharaj, I still like, can basically like recollect what has happened because it had that essence. What do you have to say on that, that the stories don't stay much like before?
नहीं, मुझे लगता है कि अच्छी फिल्म होती है, and it'll always find its space.
Yeah, I mean, I think certain films click with certain people and some of them just don't. I think each film has its separate audience. Everyone doesn't like everything all the time. So yeah, I don't think that's something you can have control over. There's so many films now on OTT in the theaters. So I think there's something for everyone.
Coming to this side, like have y'all both ever swapped phones with your partners? And I'm sure this is a cliche question you'll get asked very often.
Have you swapped phone with a partner?
No, I mean, I'm not very like the type to I want to see and all. Maybe I like, I think maybe I would try to peek little from far, but I'll never ask and say I want to see this, I want to do that. I think that's quite personal to you, and I don't think I'd want to cross that boundary.
What about you?
मैं मुश्किल से खुद के फोन में देखता हूँ.
But I have to ask this because it revolves around love. What is that one thing you both try to hold in terms of values for love, which doesn't kind of brushes off with whatever current situation is when it comes to love? So like say if someone is coming and telling you something about your partner, you really don't buy that because you know that this is what exactly the thing is. What do you both do on those levels?
If someone was to say something about
yes, like just basically
not a little confused about the question.
Yeah.
Like transcending your qualities. What I'm trying to say that basically having those values or following certain rules for your love stories or for your relationship, that if someone comes and says something XYZ about your partner or tries to say that listen, this is what I don't see right, or he's a red flag or a green flag, how do you control that situation?
No, I think it's a bit disrespectful for anyone else to have some kind of opinion on your partner. I think your relationship should be personal and private to you. So I wouldn't think twice if someone ever said something like that to me. I would just tell them off and say, I don't think it's any of your business.
No, again, I think I'm going to quote Ashutosh Rana ji. You should actually interview him. He's like a wealth of information, just FYI. But उन्होंने कहा था कि जब रिलेशनशिप होती है ना, तो आपको आंखें खुली करके रिलेशनशिप में जाना चाहिए और फिर आंखें बंद कर देनी चाहिए.
Correct.
हम लोग का प्रॉब्लम क्या है, हम लोग आंखें बंद करके रिलेशनशिप में जाते हैं और फिर आंखें खोलते हैं.
That's true. Yeah.
So I will come back to that quotation for this.
But as going by his thoughts also, I've seen that, even at the trailer launch, and I really wrote those things, and I shared a tweet of that basically, that, the video, the way he's spoken about relationship, I think he has got a depth of knowledge around it.
Yeah, on all subjects.
Yeah.
On all subjects.
Yeah.
So were you all getting into conversations with them wherein, with him basically, wherein he would kind of, become a teacher or a tutor in a way to teach you about, relationships in life altogether?
But I mean, he was so interesting to work with in
Yeah,
general.
yeah.
I think especially that scene when you just come to meet him.
He's great
It was so much fun because he would love to improvise and add things in the middle of the scene that would catch us off guard, I think, and it would make for such a nice reaction. We'd just keep rolling and working with it.
Yeah, he brings so much to every scene. I think it was great fun.
And with so much enthusiasm and excitement, I was under the impression someone so senior, like, they'll come and they do their job and they go, but just like the amount of ideas and excitement to work and collaborate, it was really nice, and I think I learned so much.
And also, Khushi, there was this compliment given to you that when actually the director, chose you, he was like basically whether you would be able to do or no. And then when the camera was on you, you were completely a different, personality altogether, and the way you have said dialogues, even some of the dialogues were nice. So I was like, oh my God, there is so much of energy in you. It's literally like, you are the character, you are not Khushi Kapoor. You have to tell me like how things worked for you and how you developed these skills for yourself.
I think even Advait had that fear before reading started only, actually. Because I think we were both very quiet and not talkative.
पहली मीटिंग में ही हम लोग ऐसे बैठे हुए थे चुपचाप.
Yeah, like students in one corner.
यार मैं क्या करूँगा इन दोनों के साथ.
Yeah, so I think the more we read, the more we practiced. We had a dialect coach also that would come. And little things like that, the more you explore a character, the easier it gets. I think for me, it's always nicer to play someone else instead of being myself. Because then that pressure is not there, because I'm not Khushi anymore.
Also, it wasn't with the camera rolling. पहले rehearsal में ही Khushi घुस गई थी.
He was just like, when did this voice come out?
Wow, that's a compliment, I must say that. But Khushi, we have seen you also, whenever we have spotted you also at events, you're very quiet like that. You keep it to yourself, or you're like very much happy in your own aura. What makes you talk? Like if someone has to make you talk, what makes you talk?
I'm actually not a very talkative person. I don't really... I'm not very used to being the center of attention, and I come from a very big family also, so I kind of got used to hiding behind my sister, my parents and stuff like that. So I think it's still new for me. Now even this promotional run, I was just saying it's just both of us, so now we're kind of having to speak more, and there's no hiding behind anything. So I think the more you do things, the easier it gets.
Aamir kind of feels you're sharper, than him in terms of, understanding, the cinema basically, in terms of, of course, like, having your own way and, taking your own decisions in terms of, the way the film industry works basically.
देखिए sharper की बात तो you have to understand he is my father. तो थोड़े rose tinted glasses होंगे उनके.
But did he really kind of guide you, or he just left you like, listen, you have to do it on your own?
He lets us do our own thing.
Yeah.
He very much lets us do our own thing.
Do you like really approach him for scripts and all, or do you prefer?
No, so whenever I have any questions, he's always there that way, but he doesn't get involved unless he's asked for opinion or asked questions. तो वो करने देता.
You also had this, like, not you basically, like your father had this image of perfectionist. Do you also want to get into that image, or you want a different tagline altogether? And what that tagline could be?
Oh, वो आपको audience को पूछना पड़ेगा. मुझे नहीं पता.
What is that which you really feel that, would kind of, connect with you?
Again, not this is for audiences to decide. ना अभी मैं क्या बोलूँ उस पे?
Yeah. Khushi, coming to you, what was Janvi's reaction after watching this? I've seen that cute reel of you, Khushi Kapoor, and Janvi, and that's very sweet actually. The way you all are dancing on, and the way your father was dancing. But what was her reaction to this?
She's not seen the film actually. She's not seen it yet, but. She was very excited when she saw the trailer. She's always been, I think, my biggest cheerleader when it comes to everything. I don't think I'm ever in life going to be able to make any decision without her and dad giving me their nod of approval. So she was very excited that I was doing a film like this and seeing me in a different light than she's used to. Because even at home, I don't think I'm as loud as Bani is. So I think she really liked.
Now that you are coming in the world of cinema, which also means after OTT debut, your film is finally releasing in theaters. What is your feeling right now? Are you okay, you may also face criticism of all you know, or you may not of all you know, but there would be headlines around you. So what is your entire feeling right now?
I'm really excited. It's my first theatrical. I think it's a really special thing. There are obviously nerves as well. There's a lot of uncertainty now, I think, but I really do believe in this film. I think we've all worked really hard on it, and I just hope people can appreciate it. That's all I can do. I don't think I have much control over how audience perceive it, but I think we did our best and we've made a good film, and I just want people to watch it.
Lovely chatting with both of you. Thank you so much for your lovely time, and all the very best for LoveYapa. I'm looking forward to this one and hoping to see both of you literally ruling the charts, I'm sure. Thank you so much for your lovely time.
Thank you so much.